what it is, family. GMOG Media TV, back with another one. So I've seen a lot. Well, I would see quite a few videos regarding Kevin Samuels being called out by DJ Envy of The Breakfast Club. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. Who else? RB The Breakthrough. A few other guys who I can't think of off the top of my head who I've seen their videos and reactions to DJ Envy, who basically, you know, called out Kevin Samuels and what he had to say. You know, he said that, you know, Kevin Samuels, I've seen Kevin Samuels hanging out at the Hermes store, begging for clients, something like that. And he said that Kevin Samuels is lame, you know, this, that, and the third, right? My thing is this, right? Because I've seen a lot, like I said, I've seen quite a few reaction videos regarding what DJ Envy had to say about Kevin Samuels, but nobody's talking about the woman who triggered DJ Envy to say what he had to say about him. And it was kind of like pent up aggression, because as soon as that lady, which her name was called Karen, she called up the show and said, you know, because the show, for those of you who haven't listened to it, just listen to DJ Envy going in on Kevin Samuels. It'll pop up. But what I wanted to talk about in regards to this videos is the priority or priorities of a woman, right? But I'll get to that in a minute. But what triggered DJ Envy to talk shit about Kevin Samuels, whether you agree or disagree with what Kevin Samuels says, what triggered him was that woman. That woman triggered him. The woman called up and wanted to basically say or vote for Donkey of the Day to Kevin Samuels, who is an online social media personality, right? This, as far as I know, he's not selling books. He's not selling anything that I can think of that's kind of like forcing you to get to know his content. You know, he's basically giving out free game, you know, on Instagram, on YouTube and stuff like that, to better yourself as a human, whether you're male or female, as far as relationship wise. And a lot of the talking points that he talks about are what I've been talking about for years on my channel. But, you know, now he's been seeing this influx of success. You know, his stock is just continuing to rise each and every day. And I commend him for that. But like I said, going back to the original response from DJ Envy, what triggered DJ Envy to talk shit about Kevin Samuels was that woman who called herself Karen and wanted to vote for Kevin Samuels as Donkey of the Day. So now, let's talk about Donkey of the Day. Donkey of the Day is, if you research Donkey of the Day for The Breakfast Club, Donkey of the Day basically means that a person or a thing is recommended on the show to be Donkey of the Day based off mischief, based off of just degrading or unsatisfied things that they have done in society, right? That's what, from a high level, that's what Donkey of the Day means, is to vote for a person or an entity, right, that has been displaying mischief, that has been derelict of whatever type of responsibilities or whatever the case may be in that situation, right? So that's what Donkey of the Day is. Now, I don't listen to Breakfast Club at all. And I'm gonna be honest, I just watch clips. I watch clips of The Breakfast Club. I have never sat and watched a whole segment of The Breakfast Club, right? So, and then more than likely that'll never happen, because I don't listen to terrestrial radio like that. Actually, I don't listen to terrestrial radio at all. You know? They're still on terrestrial radio. I forgot what station it is in Miami, because I'm in Miami, but they're still on an FM dial, and I don't listen to any terrestrial radio stations at all, period. But anyway, the woman called up and wanted to vote for Kevin Samuels as donkey of the day. And immediately I was like, out of all the things that's happening in the world, right? You want to vote for somebody who basically has no impact, no direct impact on your life. Meaning, wherever that lady was calling from, I'm pretty sure she's in the States. Karen, if you're watching, you can step outside your home right now, and there are fugitives, sex offenders, murderers, drug dealers, corrupt politicians out in where you live at right now that can affect you immediately. But yet you're worried about what Kevin Samuels is doing. Again, whether you agree or disagree with him or not, Kevin Samuels has no direct effect on your life unless you listen to his content and apply what he's saying in your daily life. And hopefully you'll see some, positive results, positive or negative. That is an impact on your life. That's the only way someone like him can directly affect your life, if you listen to him and apply what he's saying to your life. But at the end of the day, you have a choice of whether or not you can listen to him. There's a choice. Just like it's a choice that women call up on his show voluntarily to talk to Kevin Samuels for advice. They know his reputation. They know what he does because they've seen clips, but they still voluntarily call in on his show. It's not like he's going to each of these women's houses and forcing them or trying to blackmail them to call in. Hey, this is Kevin Samuels. You better call in on my show tonight at 10 o'clock or else I'm going to expose you. He's not doing that. These women are voluntarily calling in on his show. And there's a disclaimer because your privacy, there's a disclaimer basically saying that once you're on the show, it's all fair game. Your likeness will be used on his content. He has a right to put it on YouTube, put it on whatever platform he wants to, because he owns his own content, right? So going back to a woman's priorities, there are many women that think like Karen, who have a choice to listen to Kevin Samuels, right? And complain about his content, complain about what he says, and to the point where he is basically a threat to society because he is so-called degrading women. Again, when you have, fugitives fugitives, criminals, sex offenders out where you live at right now, roaming the streets that can affect your daily life just like that, possibly take your life. Kevin Samuels has no impact, no direct impact on your life whatsoever. But yet you want him to be donkey of the day. You want him to be quote unquote canceled. Why don't you cancel the corrupt politicians and the corrupt school systems and these doctors and these pharmaceutical companies that are selling you lies about the vaccine being so-called safe when there's so many goddamn side effects and things of that nature that can cause death, that are lying, and they fast track this vaccination? Why don't you do that? Why don't you call out the justice system that are releasing these goddamn criminals, these repeat offenders, these felons out in the street that are a threat to society, and they're still out and about roaming the streets because of a technicality, right? But yet Kevin Samuels he's an issue. He's a donkey of the day. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense, man. What can I tell you? Women have really no kind of set priorities whatsoever, man. They really don't. Like, you have a privilege to open your smartphone, your iPhone, Android, whatever the case may be, go on social media apps, Instagram, YouTube, and watch videos. Right? That's a choice. It's a luxury to go out and have the ability to have an electronic device, a pocket computer, which is an iPhone, and watch whatever content you want to watch. And you can get offended if you want to because you choose to watch it. He degrades women. but you chose to watch the content. And it's crazy, man. No priorities whatsoever. No priorities whatsoever. You know, and that's the problem, man. And this is going back to what I said, you know, in previous videos throughout the years, you know. And I'm talking about black people in general. You know, black people, they don't know how to counterattack an invisible enemy. They can only basically attack a person or a thing that they see. Meaning, Kevin Samuels is hot right now. He'll continue to get hot and more popular. There's a lot of haters out there that disagree with his content. Right? And so because he's so visible, right, he is so easy to talk about. And whether you agree or disagree with him or not. Meanwhile, because, you know, I work in IT, right? I've been working in IT for years. That's just, you know, and part of what I do is infrastructure. Infrastructure is like for Google, for example, right? Google owns YouTube. There is something called infrastructure and data centers. These are the things that content creators they got to thank their lucky stars that there's so much into when it comes to the backbone infrastructure of Google. They have the most state-of-the-art data centers in the world, right? I mean, these guys have their own HVAC systems to keep their hyper-converged infrastructure cool to a certain degree, and they have their own proprietary hardware for each of their systems to make sure your content is saved in the cloud infrastructure, right? These are the things that most content creators don't know about because they don't see it. And it becomes an issue when there is a problem with someone uploading their video. If there's a problem with a content creator uploading their video somewhere, or, you know, they're not getting the likes or notifications that they want, that is something wrong with the system. But more than likely or not, you don't notice that because Google runs pretty much a flawless system, right? So my point is that whenever there's a problem with the infrastructure, that's when you notice it. But because you can upload your content consistently, you get the notification that you want when you want it, you get the you get the ability to go to different videos and watch it without any issues. Everything is okay. Everything is just lovely. But the minute there's a problem and you can't do that, that's when you notice it. So going back to the invisible enemy or the invisible entity, Kevin Samuels is hot, you see him. When he wasn't hot, nobody talked about him. Right? Nobody, because I've been watching Kevin Samuels for years, ever since he's been doing fragrance reviews. You know? I still have probably like 3 or 4 different fragrances that I bought based off Kevin Samuels' recommendations. Like the Tom Fords, Maison Margiela's, etc. Right? I still have a lot of those stuff that I got from him. But like I said, going back to the invisible enemy, man, y'all dudes just don't know how to counterattack folks that affect you that you don't see on a daily basis. Like the city where Karen was calling from, there's so many things that affect her that she doesn't know about because she doesn't see it. It's not in her face. That's when you know that most people aren't up to snuff of what's going on in the world. They're more focused on what's going on social media because they can see it. But the infrastructure around you and how it affects you, they don't really care about it unless it affects them, unless they have a major issue, whether it be, you know, the school system, the justice system, or whatever the case may be, and it affects them directly. That's when they take notice, right? And it happens like that all the time. So y'all, man, y'all got to do a better job of understanding how to fight the invisible enemy. The invisible enemy is a system that's keeping you oppressed. That's been keeping you oppressed for centuries. All right, but you guys don't want to talk about it unless it affects you directly, unless it affects you personally. That's when it becomes an issue. So anyway, family, those are my thoughts about that. Leave your comments down below. Yeah, man, I just wanted to talk about that. Like I said, I am definitely a critical thinker, and I display ideas and things of that nature through osmosis. And so I just wanted to talk about specifically that lady Karen, who wanted to vote for Kevin Samuels as Donkey of the Day, which absolutely made no sense. It made no sense whatsoever when there's so many other things that affecting your life directly that you don't care about, right? So it is what it is, family. Those are my thoughts on that. Leave your comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at GMOGFitnes. You already know what it is. Until then, next time, signing out. Peace.